Hello friends, I am Mrs. Manjusha Borauke from Deccan Education Society School, Pune. Today I am going to teach you the first poem from Unit 1, Where the Mind is Without Fear. So children, we'll begin our poem with a beautiful recital by Sri Rahul Verma. Let's move on to the presentation.
Rabindranath Tagore was one of India's most celebrated poets. He made countless contributions to Indian literature and to our freedom struggle. Over the course of his lifetime, he wrote many poems, some of which were compiled into a work titled Gitanjali. It was because of Gitanjali that Rabindranath Tagore won the Nobel Prize for Literature, being the first person outside of Europe to win that prize. Amongst his many contributions, Tagore gifted India her national anthem. He also gifted Bangladesh with her national anthem and inspired Sri Lanka in their national anthem. Tagore has been a huge inspiration for me since early childhood. And one poem that he wrote has been guiding me for years and years and years. In Bengali, it is called Chitto Jatha Bhoyshunno, where the mind is without fear. Over 100 years after Tagore wrote those lines, they have a profound meaning for us. They cut across colors, they cut across races, they cut across nationalities, they cut across the ages. So today, as we mark a new beginning with this India Learning Center, I'm going to request you to stand up and join me in invoking Tagore's words. Join me in honoring the work of this amazing team that has created this unique center of learning. Where the mind is without fear, and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls. Where words come out from the depth of truth. where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way in the dreary desert sand of dead habit. Where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, into ever-widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake. Let my country awake.
Hope you enjoyed this beautiful recital. So children, we are going to learn the poem Where the Mind is Without Fear, written by Rabindranath Tagore. Rabindranath Tagore was born on 7th May 1861 and he died on 7th of August 1941. His real name was Rabindranath Tagore. His pen name was Bonita, that is Bhanu Singh Tagore. He received many sobriquets such as Gurudev, Kabiguru, and Viswakavi. He was known as the Bard of Bengal. Bard means a storyteller. The first non-European to win the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1913, and this was indeed very creditable. A Nobel Prize is a set of annual international awards bestowed in several categories by the Swedish and Norwegian institutions in recognition of academic, cultural, or scientific advances. The will of the Swedish industrialist established these prizes in 1895. The Nobel Prizes are widely regarded as the most prestigious awards in their respective fields. To his credit, Rabindranath Tagore has many beautiful literary works. The most important of them are the national anthems of India, Jana Gana Mana, and the national anthem of Bangladesh, Amar Sonar Bangla. He has also authored many beautiful books, Gitanjali being the most famous of them. Gitanjali is a song offerings. Gora, that is the fair-faced, Ghare Bere, the home and the world, and Kabuliwala. This poem was written by Rabindranath Tagore when India was ruled by the Britishers. The British Empire was at its peak between 1815 and 1914, and it has been called as the British Century. The British Empire was at its peak between 1815 and 1914, and it has been called as the British Century. As a nationalist, universal internationalist, and humanist, Rabindranath Tagore denounced the British rule in India and elaborately stated his views in his writings. This can be seen in his popular poem, Where the Mind is Without Fear. Though Tagore never went to the prison, nor was he an active freedom fighter, nevertheless, through his writings, he tried to bring Renaissance in Bengal and later on became the Renaissance of India as a nation state. We were the slaves to a foreign rule, that is the colonial rule. He had seen how cruel and despotic the British rule was. The Britishers had ruined the country in all aspects. They had also robbed the Indian people of their dignity and self-respect. The title of the poem itself gives us the clear idea of the theme of the poem. The time when this poem was written was a period of great turbulence all over the country. The freedom struggle had already taken roots in most parts of India. The people were fed up of the British rule. The people were deprived of their freedom in all aspects: economic, social, political, and even educational. Rabindranath Tagore realized that India could not progress until the Britishers ruled over India. The Indians lived in constant fear and suppression due to the domination of the Britishers. Their minds were always full of fear. Such fearful minds could not progress in any field. Hence, he desperately wanted his country to be free from the foreign rule. The images in the slide show you that the British created injustice in India. The images in the slide show you the British injustice in India. The first image shows you the Jallianwala Bagh massacre that took place in 1919. You have studied in history that after the Jallianwala Bagh massacre in 1919, Rabindranath Tagore had renounced his knighthood, which had been conferred to him in 1915. The second image shows you the Indian slaves being treated inhumanly by the British officers. These two images give you a fair idea of the cruelty of the Britishers. Where the Mind is Without Fear, this poem was written by Rabindranath Tagore before India's independence. The original poem was published in Bengali language in 1910. Tagore himself translated it in English in 1912. It appeared as poem 35 in his anthology of poems Gitanjali. In 1917, Tagore read out the English version, which was then titled as the Indian Prayer at the Indian National Congress session in Calcutta. During his address to the Indian Parliament in 2010, US President Barack Obama quoted the lines of this beautiful poem. Now let's recite the poem. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action, into that freedom of heaven, my Father, let my country away. This poem is a prayer to the universal father figure, that is the God, the Almighty. The poem elaborates Tagore's vision of new enlightened India. This poem is written in the form of a prayer to the Almighty for asking for freedom of the country. In this poem, he also mentions about the different qualities that he feels that his countrymen should have. He feels that in an independent India, people should have total freedom of good thoughts, good words, good actions, and they should also learn to respect each other. Now, children, let us interpret the poem line by line. Now, children, let's interpret the poem line by line. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high. In the first line, the poet wishes his country to be free from oppressive rule of the colonizers. He feels that once the country is free, everybody will be able to live fearlessly. He prays to the Almighty that his countrymen should be free from any kind of fear, oppression, or forced compulsion. He wishes that everyone should hold his head high in dignity. That is, each person should have self-respect and self-dignity. He feels that a person can achieve success only when he is fearless and happy. Where knowledge is free. In the second line, the poet dreams of a nation where knowledge would be free. He visualizes a nation where knowledge is accessible to one and all, since knowledge and education alone will lead the people from darkness to light. During the British rule, the right to education was the privilege given to only a few people. Masses were denied the right to education on the basis of caste and creed, and hence he wishes that each and every citizen of free India should have the right to education. Children, today in independent India, Tagore's dream of free knowledge has indeed become a reality. The government of India today provides free and compulsory education to all the children, irrespective of their caste, creed, and religion and sex. Here you can see in the image that education has reached each and every corner of the country, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls. Now here, Tagore emphasizes on the unity of not only of his countrymen, but the whole world. Tagore speaks about globalization in those days. He says that where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls. The line narrow domestic walls means the conservative or narrow-minded divisions made on the basis of caste, creed, color, or class existent in the society. He feels that the narrow-minded attitudes of the people should change, and then only will the society progress. He feels that the prejudices and superstitions should not divide the people into groups or break their unity. He wants the people to live in perfect harmony. Where words come from the depth of truth, it means people should be honest in thought, word, and deed. They should not be superficial in their behavior. Words should come from the depth of their hearts. He wishes for a nation where the people are truthful. They should stand by the truth even when they face the most difficult situations in life, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection. Tireless striving means making an effort to keep on trying without giving up, irrespective of the obstacles and difficulties. He wants everyone to work hard to attain their goals and to be perfect in their work. He feels that people should give up their laziness. They should work hard and achieve success, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way. In this line, the poet compares reason or logical thinking to a clear stream. He wants the stream of reason not to lose its way into the desert of prejudices. In short, he wants the people to think logically and overcome the superstitions and old baseless beliefs. Dead habits here means the rituals and the customs of the olden days which were followed blindly by the people without any thought and logic. Tagore here wants the people to adopt rational thinking into the dreary desert sand of habit. So here Tagore speaks of the old, outdated and unlogical. Dead habits means the rituals and beliefs of the olden days which were followed by the people without any logic or any thought. Tagore wants the people to adopt rational thinking, where the mind is led forward by thee into that ever-widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country obey. In these lines, the poet wishes his countrymen to be progressive and broad-minded. He wishes that their minds should be led forward by ever-widening thought and action. In short, he wants us to overcome narrow-mindedness, become open-minded, and do something extraordinary. And therefore, he emphasizes that the minds should be fearless, so that we can achieve success in all fields. He prays to Almighty, the God, to give that fearless mind to man. This poem reflects Tagore's patriotism and love for his country, his clear thinking, his broad outlook, his scientific attitude, and his emphasis on hard work. Tagore is indeed hopeful and optimistic. He hopes for a better future. He is deeply concerned about the well being of his people. The words flow from the depth of his heart and touch the hearts of the readers. The poet feels that the nation should awaken from the darkness of the night. They should break free from the shackles of oppressive colonial rule, which was like a dark, long night. They should breathe in the fresh air of freedom. Now, children, let's move on to the poetic devices of the poem, that is, the figures of speech. Remember, students, the use of the word where at the beginning of each line creates emphasis on the fact that the poet is describing an ideal country. It creates a continuity of thought and links each of the factors that the poet describes into the whole idea of a heavenly country. This figure of speech is known as anaphora, in which a word is repeated at the beginning of the sentence. The word where digs into the minds of the readers. It ignites the minds of the readers to fight and holds their heads high in dignity. This figure of speech can also be named as repetition. This other figure of speech is alliteration. The sound of the letters is repeated for poetic effect. For example, the head is held high. Here the sound of the letter H is repeated. Head held high is repeated for poetic effect. The next line, been broken. The sound of the letter B is repeated. The next line, the sound of the letter S is repeated. In this line, into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, the sound of the letter D is repeated for poetic effect. The next figure of speech is personification. Inanimate objects are given human qualities. For example, tireless striving has been given the human quality of stretching its arms. Habit has been given the quality of death. The next figure of speech is metaphor. Metaphor is an implied simile. Reason is implicitly compared to a clear stream. Old habits have been compared to a dreary desert sand. Synecdoche. A part is used to designate the whole or the whole to designate a part. In this poem, the line, "Let my country awake." Country here stands for the people. Apostrophe is a direct address to the dead, to the absent, or to a personified object. The poet here is addressing the Almighty, that is, the God, as my father. After we complete the figures of speech in this poem, we have to write the appreciation of the poem. Now remember, these are the following points that you have to remember when you write the appreciation of the poem. Title of the poem, the name of the poet or the poetess, central idea, rhyme scheme, if any, figures of speech. Remember to underline the important points in the appreciation of the poem. I have given you a model of the appreciation of this poem. Let's read it. The poem Where the Mind is Without Fear is composed by Rabindranath Tagore as one of his vastly read and inspirational poems. It was originally composed in Bengali under the title Prarthana, meaning prayer. Tagore prays to God Almighty to lift his country to a state where freedom would be felt and enjoyed in the best possible way. The poet wishes true freedom for his country and thus reveals his own concept of freedom through the poem. He dreams of a nation where knowledge would be free. Poet also emphasizes the unity of not only his countrymen but also of the entire world. The poem conveys the emotions and strong feelings of the poet for the progress of the country. The poem is written in free verse without any rhyme scheme or meter. There are many figures of speech in the poem, example, metaphor, alliteration. However, personification is an important figure of speech used in the poem. Where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection is an example of personification. It is an extremely patriotic poet where, besides political freedom from the British, Tagore also appeals to God for social, educational, and economic freedom for Indians. Tagore motivates, urges people to be fearless, self dignified, knowledgeable, truthful, hardworking, and broad minded enough to lead or enjoy a happy and peaceful life. A special thanks to Rahul Verma and team for their video. The source of the video is YouTube. So, hello friends, I hope you have understood the poem. After we learn the poem, we realize that Tagore's dream has indeed come into reality to some extent. Children, now you are supposed to complete all the activities given in your textbook related to this poem. Thank you very much.